Today we'll be battling with 12 other gentlemen or people in the modern prelim, fighting for the QPs. I am playing Esper Goryo's Vengeance. Rejoin with a different force. It's risky. Alright, not going to risk it with 50 seconds. The lag might just not let me come back, so I'll play with random split of forces of negations. That is, we're playing the Goryo's deck. The new version popularized by Mr. Moscato, having some insane runs in the modern challenge areas. I have listened to a podcast where he explained his deck and it kind of made a lot of sense. Like the reasonings behind Faithful Mending, just wants a pitchable card. If it's bad, then like you want to pitch it, you don't want it to be slightly better. Which is the case for the Tainted Indulgence perhaps. And we just try to reanimate Atraxa, gain an card advantage. And we have Quantum Riddler plus Ephemerate as an alternate plan. So for a long time I was thinking that the Goryo's deck is probably replacing Phalange Archaeologist with a better card away from being great. And Quantum Riddler does just that. It's kind of less directly synergistic in that Phalange lets you just mill cards, find your Goryo's Vengeance, look deep for your Vengeance while also milling over your monsters, but Phalange also had the downside of being pretty horrible as a card and not useful in any scenario where you're not fully comboing off. Where you're not going to combo off. So let's say if your opponent has Graveyard Hate, then you just kind of had to fight through it. And it was good at enabling your main plan, but not at letting it punch through interaction. While Quantum Riddler has a bunch of other combos in the deck, and you can combo it with Frog or Ephemerate or maybe even Ketramose or pitch spells, and it can be a 2-mana divination, it can be a 2-mana joy card into Ephemerate, have a powerful 4/6 in play, which is pretty hard to remove in Modern. So it gives you a much better fair plan at a very low cost. So enough yapping and let's start gaming. Yeah, this seems alright to me. Turn to Frogster, we're going to fetch Godless Shrine, the Surveillant version. Turn to Sting the Stupor. Hopefully I don't get Void Seized. The last times I have been playing around with Mr. Ereso, they've been playing Tron mostly. That continues, then, well, we'll see. Seems like they have changed their deck choice. Monastery Swiftspear. Now, how reasonable would it be to Subtlety it? I think not very. Probably keep Subtlety for a Slickshot Trove and just try to use a Prismatic Ending to deal with the card. But my turn 2 is probably going to be a Frog. It's not easy for Prowess to kill a Frog just like that. I could also save some life, but like and play a Prismatic Ending. On the Swiftspear, play a Surveillant, which means I don't pay free life with my Shrink into Stupor and I can pitch it to Subtlety. That way I get rid of the Swiftspear. I'm at a very high life total. And I'm capable of playing the game a bit slower, except that if I actually Subtlety a slickshot show off, it's kind of not great unless I already have a frog in play. If I play a frog and my opponent, let's say they double bolt it. They bolt frog, I discard 2 cards and they bolt again. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards to discard, so I can make it 7 toughness, so it could be my plan. Unholy Heat doesn't have Delirium yet. It seems to me like casting removals and subtleties is going to get better once I have the frog in play, so I should be fine. Also, playing the frog keeps me... Ephemerate, interesting. It would be good once I draw a Solitude. But yeah, this way I'm also live to draw Goryo's Vengeance on any turn, because I have Atraxa that I can pitch with Frog. And getting a hit with Atraxa should probably be game winning against Prowess. Good morning, Florent. You're still a singleton priest hater, would play second Teferi over it, sure. What do you mean still? It's the first time we play this here, so I guess it probably has not been discussed before. Surveland, that's a pretty interesting choice. Seems like villain is probably kind of flooded. Alright, can blocking be ever be reasonable? I block and I have to pitch Atraxa. Then they bowl the frog. I think it is not reasonable, so I will just take the damage. The Jenny Grove especially was pretty rough if I wanted to block, so I guess we can get hit by a double strike combat trick. Yeah. They do have Delirium, which puts me to 1 life point, which is a bit scary. In which case, I guess maybe blocking was actually desirable. I mean, it's really rough because villain just plays the Mutagenic Growth and that's it. Perhaps I got punished for not prismatically ending the monster though. Playing out the frog was proved to be a little bit too much. Could perhaps pitch something, but I don't know about it yet, so I will not. Quantum Riddler, interesting. Alright, we're going to hope that there is no burn spells in my opponent's hand, and then we'll see where that takes me. Expressive Iteration. Unfortunately, that resolves and gives my opponent plenty of looks for Lava Dart or Lightning Bolt. Lava Dart. Alright. Well, that was a pretty brutal loss. We even were on the play, so interesting game. I wonder if well, it seemed like from how this game went that just killing the prowess creature is valuable, but of course in reality they could play Cory Steelcutter as well and just like kind of clown my play if I don't play the frog. So I wonder which play was actually the good one. I have a sideboard guide written by Mr. Moscato. It just kind of cuts the expensive cards against prowess, and I suppose we bring the cheap ones, which makes sense. Wrath of the Skies, good for clearing. Cory Steelcutter, Pest Control against the monsters. Subtlety kinda weak. Force of Negation can counter the iterations or even the Blood Moons. My opponent is into that, and none of the sideboard cards actually make much sense to bring in. Can I activate the match tracker? Indeed. Well, seems kind of gone for now. Seems like it might just be not working today. We're gonna go with the manual result then. Well, seems like a keep. To jest właśnie moc prawosika, że na stworki musisz mieć removal, a jak kipniesz mon removal, dostajesz core i ESO. Indeed, yes, that does... That dynamic causes me to just not bring much removal, if any, against prowess when I play Titan. A bit awkward of a hand, mana base wise, but I guess I'll play Undercity Sewers turn 1. Maybe Hedge Maze. No, we don't need, like, I mean, odds that I hardcast Atraxa in a game against prowess are probably not zero, but pretty low. If I go Hedge Maze, then I fetch Swamp Plains. Probably. Question. I'm back, chat. I had to come to my door to answer it because a postman has came and gave me a letter with cards I ordered for my cube. Just a registered letter. I guess I will not need double black, right? Realistically. So I can play Hedge Maze. After thinking about it a bit more. Seems like it's low downside to play it, and maybe if the game goes giga long, I will be happy about that. Ephemerate, I don't want. Not a blue card for my Force of Negation. Not particularly great in this spot, and Solitude, I'm not unhappy about. We'll continue the swamp plan. Maybe it is going to bite me in the ass over the course of a longer game, but hopefully it won't. Opponent is on prowess. Yes, I died game 1 pretty badly to Mutagenic Growth and Violent Outburst. Bolt. Alright. I say alright, but... Yes, Violent Outburst. It's probably called something else. Violent Urge, maybe? But Violent Outburst would be brutal as well. I mean, playing the Bolt means that villain has another removal. So if I discard 2 cards, they say, okay, I Bolt again. In which case I have no hand. Can I actually kill the frog though with like any effects? I don't think so, so I think discarding Sewers and Force of Negation seems alright. Because they're away from Unholy Heat. Dora equals 3. What's Dora? Unholy Heat deals 2 damage, so I don't even need to discard my entire hand. So I probably keep the Marsh Flats, right? Which doesn't seem like a bad spot, frankly. Deal 5 damage. If I discard 2, then it's 7. Plus 7, plus 7 plus 9, that's 16. Testing the new Titan build. No, it's actually Goryo's deck. Singer makes sense. I see. I mean, I could make it so that my opponent can't fetch. If I just hit them like... Discard, 7, they go to 10, then I draw a frog, then draw again, that's 9. Can they win at this point? Because most of the lands in the prowess deck are fetches, right? Am I right? Doesn't run Spirabluff Canals. the same time, if my opponent actually manages to kill the frog, let's say by getting prowess, let's say like get Delirium and cast 2 Unholy Heats, then I guess it will be too disastrous, and I don't really gain all that much by discarding 5 cards to 1, 2, 3, discarding 4 cards to put them down to 1. Drew Plains. Could play Fetch for a Survival. Could play Plains for Blood Moon. Could not play anything. Do I want to cast the Mending? If so, then I play the Plains. I think I don't really want to cast the Mending necessarily, so I'll just play a Marsh Flats to Survival land. If Frog gets targeted, I will discard the Mending by like a Delirious Hit, which they don't have Delirium of course yet, but if they were to. Cory Steel, Oi Jets. Sure, no place. So it would be plausible that they would have a Into the Floodmaw. Entomb Atraxa. Floodmaw on the Psychic Frog now would be pretty brutal, I guess. I wonder if, I guess maybe waiting prompts them to... Oh, kurva, Surgical. Way got better. Guess I just want the Monk. Funny. Well, I drew Goryo, good move. Casually 10 minutes down over my opponent because I am a deliberate gamer. On their frogs, I have 2 lethal monsters. Play a plane so I can cast a Faithful Mending if I need to gain 2 more life to survive for some reason. But ideally I do not, so that I have 3 cards to have 2 lethal frogs. Although just 1 will be flying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dobra, Canister wins. Narrowly managed to beat my opponent by playing a turn 2 frog, which they couldn't do anything about, and they died. Because the removal is red. Is Into the Floodmaw not a card they play? Sometimes they do. 1.6 and 77%, so it does show up, yeah. Let's not be giga surprised if my 7-8 pro gets bounced, I guess. Trying to go Rios against a Surgical deck? Oh, maybe a bit challenging, but I guess you can do it in your opponent's turn with a Force of Negation backup. You're more of an accidental gamer yourself, makes sense. Also, Aljik, thank you very much for your Sabini. Oh, whoa, I don't know about this hand, chat. Seems really slow on the draw. What happens if my opponent plays a Swift Spear on turn 1? I guess I just die. Alejandro, FTMTG, thank you too. Thank you as well. Reap the benefits of September and do what Alejandro FP did. Let's look for something better. Ephemerate Solitude, that does qualify as something better. I will put back the Swamp Beach. Can answer their early start and we can ruffle the skies Cory, so seems good. Of course, Solitude Ephemerate is a little bit dangerous against prowess, but they kind of have to cast spells. Interesting draw. Garai's Vengeance. Maybe I will pitch the Ruffle the Skies and not Faithful Mending then if I'm going to Solitude. Or maybe I'll just Survival land on turn 1. I guess the question is, if my opponent plays another Swift Spear, do I act? Here I don't think I do, I just surveil with a Meticulous Archive. Surveil the Faithful Mending for Giga value. Now what? Tough decisions already. Because my opponent doesn't have another creature. If I Prismatic Ending the Swift Spear, then I can't hit their Cory if they play Cory next turn. Casting this seems far away. Casting Mending to fuel my Goryos is nice, but if my opponent has a slow hand, there is a chance they have an extraction anyways, and then I shouldn't be trying to Goryos. So I'll just pass and hope that it's going to work out somehow. Maybe my opponent will just play 2 Swift Spears and attack me for free. Ideally, I guess Mountain and 3 Swift Spears, because then I can block 1 as well. Iteration, okay. Mountain. I keep taking damage from the Swift Spear and I don't know what to do about that. Could Solitude pitching Mending, could Solitude pitching Wrath of the Skies. I already have a Mending in my graveyard, so I land means I can flush it back from my graveyard. Although Mending is a blue card, if I draw a Force of Negation, it could continue taking 2, putting my opponent in a so-called check. Clearly they're playing slowly as well. Slow. Swamp. Alright, I'm passing and I'm taking 2 damage if that's all my opponent does still. And flashing back a Mending EOD. Swift Spear. Resolves. Bobble. Sure. Mishra's Bobbern. Mishra's Bobber. Remember when Mishra's Bobber was the best card ever in the format of Modern? Going for Solitude Ephemerate, pretty bad against Lightning Bolts. So it seems better to just take it and then... Nah, not really. Well, this is my only instant speed removal, so it kinda does look better. It's Faithful Mending. Pest Control, that's good, that's good. I think I'll discard Goryos and Mending. Mending's places in my graveyard, and I think the odds of Surgical are pretty high. I Pest Control. Could get Spell Pierce, unfortunately, but I don't think I am in a position to play around that. No nie, był play Spell Pierce. Niedobrze, niedobrze. Not a white land. Lets me cast a Quantum Riddler. Am I interested in that? Not really. I think it's actually pretty bad to draw islands. White fetch would be way better. I think most of my fetches are white, right? No, I have 4 deltas. Why isn't my deck 4 Flooded Strands? Isn't Plains the best basic? Guess it is not with, like, regards to Frog. Heard a few times that Goryo is the best deck at the moment. True or fake news? Continue watching to find out. No nie, Iteration. That's horrible. Who is KCI and why is there an option to unban them? KCI is Krar Clan Ironworks. It's a Magic the Gathering card. Your music is stuck. It is, yes. Yeah, if I go to 5, it's too bad. If I push the Solitude, there's a good chance I just die still. Which is a bit rough. Okay, no death. I drew Gorayos. Can I get a planes? Should I warp? I think killing this is a priority. So I always do it before Ephemerating. So I probably should just Prismatic Ending instantly. And then play the Rizzler. If I draw planes or a white fetch, then Ephemerate it. If not, then not. I could still get Unholy Heated, so is it even good? Not really. Yeah. But if my opponent has no monsters and we have outs to Faithful Mending, out in Atraxa, although as I've been saying, odds of like who Cory Steel Ojciec after my opponent has seen that my hand doesn't have a Prismatic Ending anymore. Oh, Soul Guide, my Faithful Mending, brutal. Also, I appreciate the Cory Steel Cutter to cycle my Fiery Islet. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. This was a tough game, a little like bit scuffed early game for me, but really hard to perform the Solitude Ephemerate trick against a gamer who just keeps up mana. Will I see an Unholy Heat on the Quantum Riddler? Well, only one card left in my opponent's hand, but I guess they have two Monks. Two Monk S. Swift Spear results. Was killing his own creature. Is he stupid? No, this me who was stupid, and we play the next match. Really tough game. Playing normal decks against prowess is always really hard for me in regular formats because you don't know how big their creatures will be. They typically end up being 10,000/10,000 and killing you. I guess I should keep this hand. We will Surveil land on turn 1. Meticulous Archive. Probably using Polluted Delta. Actually, probably I should just get the Hedge Maze. In which case I will still use the Delta because I don't need more than one swamp. Isn't Bahamut a more $1 billion? The alt art one is, yes. And that's why I don't like it, it's because it's more $1 billion. The regular one is like 20 euros, so pretty expensive for a stupid card, but if you put it in absolute terms, but could be worse. Such a Timmy card, it is a big guy. Destroy up to one target non-permanent, and then you do it again. And then you draw 2 cards, and then Mega Flower. Damn, Mega Flower is giga strong. Alright, I play a Polluted Delta, and it seems to have impressed my opponent enough that they have simply fallen aback and are not willing to play. Understandably so. Hello, Mr. Streamer. Amulet or Neoform for the PT? Are you asking me what for advice, or are you asking me what will I play? Because I will play nothing, I'm not qualified. And you... probably... I don't know. I think Amulet is a better deck than Neoform. Like, Neoform is kinda broken and kinda unplayable. It's still the same as it always has been. It's a way better deck now, but still, if your opponent ever even flashes you a counter magic card, you just kinda shit your pants and die. Even though you have, like, all deck is your deck is all Pact of Negations and Bell of Summers, so it's pretty rough. Are you ready to figure out the best Uro Amuletus build in 12 days in between Uro's unbanning and DRC? Holy shit, Uro would be nice. An Amulet, a nice GSZ target. Well, Giga value, I guess. Doesn't seem very worthwhile to play out the Prest of well, right? I guess a control deck. Probably better to discard it with Faithful Mending for an uncounterable reanimation later in the game. Ginger flashed Cyberpunk 210-27-7, can't trust him anymore. Flashed? What does that mean? Did he just say it's not his style of a game, or what? Rizzler seems desirable. So if they are holding up a counterspell, should I play Rizzler? Or should I pass and Mending this turn, actually? Because just playing a Teferi into counterspell seems a bit unwise. I guess if I'm Mending, then I can discard the Priest, which is my goal. Then I will have to find a discard spell for my monster later on. But I think I'll have some in my deck, right? And it just spends my mana nicely compared to Riddling. And Riddler could get counterspelled. Because it's a little bit bad if my opponent plays a Planeswalker on their own. But in that case, I'm Mending and try to find Force of Negation, and it's also really bad for them to try to just tap out into Force of Negation for free mana with the Planeswalker. Okay. Can I possibly discard a Solitude though? Maybe the Mending is actually better to have more fixing, and the removal is pretty bad in my hand. Rumble with Uro and Amulet? Oh no. I mean, Rumble plus Uro works kinda awkwardly, in a way. Whereas opponents Kahira, they just have two Snapcaster Mages. Or they could play Rizzler, yeah. That would also block Kahira. Just good that I have a Solitude still in my hand. I guess I will warp and play a fetch. Seems pretty hard to decide what to do exactly. Okay. Could fetch a land to cast a Mending instantly, or I could just fetch a Survival and save the Mending. Which is probably what I will do. And the Rizzler has already yielded me a 2-for-1. Alright, seems like Villain is Rizzling as well. Will they Ephemerate? In that case, I Solitude. If they Subtlety my Solitude, then I cast Mending, and then alright, they don't. Kind of a horrible exchange, really. Really needed a Teferi to protect it or something. Ephemerate? Seems a bit bad. I could Ephemerate my Rizzler. The Rizzler drew a card and he spent 2 cards to kill it. No, they spent 2 cards. And the Rizzler didn't draw a card because it went to exile. They tapped out. I think that's a pretty horrible exchange for them. Well, I drew a card but didn't draw the other card. So like, and the exchange was horrible for them. It seems a bit unbeatable. What can I do about that? Not much. I think I should cycle. It's a bit weird because maybe... Alright, cancel with the match. This hand is excellent. Should I fetch a Hedge Maze into a Godless Shrine? I think so. This is a bit awkward to play 4 Marsh Flats where I can't fetch Hedge Maze with them. So I only have 6 fetches that get Hedge Maze. Shouldn't I be playing for Flooded Strands? Well, Marsh Flats is probably the best basic-wise. Maybe not, like the basic Swamp is pretty bad in this deck, isn't it? It only casts Psychic Frog and Goryo, so it's kind of a splash. Basic Island. Well, so basic Plains cast Celestial Purge to kill Moon, or like Prismatic Ending to kill Moon. So it's kind of the most important, right? And maybe if you want to respect Harbinger, then fetching a Swamp is more important than fetching than the island. But if there's Hedge Maze in the deck, then doesn't that change? There's 2 lands that are only fetchable by 6 fetches out of 10 because of the quad Marsh Flats. Not fully convinced that that's right, although it's probably not too bad. So I will happily play Hedge Maze into Godless Shrine, I guess, and then we can play Quantum Riddler, Warp It, discard. Well, I would need to discard a lot, so probably not going to do that on turn 2, but maybe. I guess I can dig 4 cards deep for an Ephemerate and have a big frog. We'll see. Polluted Delta Hedge Maze comes first. If my opponent plays a card, I would want to Prismatic Ending over playing a frog, although I don't know what that would be. Amulet of Vigor, Ragavan? Nah. Then I guess playing the Polluted Delta could be slightly punishing, but probably not too bad. It's a Reanimator deck. Its place pushes, right? If I play a frog, it seems pretty hard for my opponent to do anything reasonable. And if they push, I can just play the second frog. Opponents surveil the wrong one. They were supposed to surveil Archon and not persist into their graveyard. Why does it think you have a song in the queue? MTG bot seems to be kind of fucked up today. Alright, they took my Rizzler. I guess I'll just attack for 1 and draw, and then probably play the second frog and Marsh Flats. Doesn't seem great to do it differently. Yep, more frogs. He couldn't kill the first one, so it seems like the second and the third one might actually be pretty good still. Well, that's it. For some reason he thought Hedge Maze doesn't cast frog. That's specifically why Hedge Maze is in the deck, right? As the off-color, as the green surveillant to hardcast Atraxa in longer games and to cast Prismatic Ending X4. You're playing a Hedge Maze because an island casts both Frog and Faithful Mending. It's pretty bad with Priest of Fell Rites, though. But that's the point. You want to utilize the blue mana to cast both of your most important two jobs. Bring Nihil Spellbombs. Mr. Moscato advises to cut random cards, which sounds like a good plan. Celestial Purge. I guess it can answer the Archon and Frog, so why not? It's better at answering Frog than Prismatic Ending, and it's better at answering Emperor of Bones. Alright, I'm in. This is a bit weaker versus Ochulus, which shouldn't matter much. Got Griselbrand as well. Okay. I guess I don't really want to have a big monster in my graveyard all that often, because if your opponent I lost my train of thought, so I can't finish my sentence. Oh. You've gotten some opponents with enormous stores of mental fortitude. They sure are strong, yeah. They sure fight on. Well, I mean, the Sun has a plan. I kept 6. Alright, let's put back a Solitude and a Gorios. Well, maybe I should put back a Plains. Because the Plains is a bit useless. That way I can have 2 Gorios, so if they counter the first one, the second one resolves. I think that's actually better. You don't often lead on Edge Maze though, assuming having relevant colors will be more important in the early game than casting Atraxa. Well, sure. I led on Hedge Maze in that hand because it cost me nothing to do so. And my hand was perfectly fine casting every card I had in my hand and every card I could have drawn, so... Sorry, that was continuation of Fetchland selection, then construction. I see, yeah. So, well, it stopped later in the game, so... It is somewhat costly, because if you end up in a situation where you need to top deck a land that casts your Atraxa, that's impossible, right? So you have to have it in play earlier at some point. And you don't want to have discarded it to a Faithful Mending or Frog at any point. So there is real benefits to just getting it into play early. Meticulous Archive. And Hedge Maze doesn't interfere with Frog casting whatsoever, right? This goes to my graveyard, I think. They simply cast a push. I can't discard the Atraxa into Emperor of Boners, which is sad, but I think it's still way better to play Frog than Quantum Riddler, right? Just cycling Riddler is way too bad and lets them just perform a looting into Archon move. Alright, so they do perform looting into Archon, which is rough, but maybe they will not have the balls against Solitude, and maybe... I mean, I can just reanimate Atraxa and hopefully keep it in play. Seems like opponent has the balls of steel and no fear. Because why would they? I'm all gone to 5. So this is 12. 16, I go to 3 life. I'm gonna discard Atraxa. Probably Riddler, right? It's more likely that I will need a Goryo's Vengeance to save myself. The second one, that is. But here if I hit Ephemerate, I'm in a good spot actually. Of course I might get extracted and then I'm in a shit spot, but if assuming Atraxa resolves. Artifact. Land. Sorcery. Instant. Well, this is not great. Creature. I haven't found Ephemerate, which was, I guess, part of my plan. And will I Solitude the Emperor or Boners? Maybe keeping the Riddler was better. Over the second Vengeance, interesting. I mean, I can take the head from the Emperor. Is this a below or above average Atraxa pile? Well, no Ephemerate, so below average. You look 10 deep and 50 cards. Which is, what odds? Again? 50 for Ephemerates. Look at 10. 60% to find an Ephemerate. Really? It's pretty high. I guess 10 is a lot of cards. I'm afraid they will play an Orchulus. I guess I can just take the Emperor hit. Let's just take the Emperor hit. Going to 6 is fine. It's not great, but fine. Well, I guess I will not have the Solitude anyway, so you got me. I'll hit the Emperor then. So now, should I crack the bomb for no value to prevent an Orchulus? I think I'll just have too few. Yeah, let's just dodge it. I think I'll have too few resources to beat the Orchulus. We have a Frogster anyway, so that's a good draw. How do I tap though? Probably like this. And I guess I'll fetch shock if I need to. Ooh. Hallowed Fountain. A bit awkward, only one swamp, but I guess I'll manage. I don't have many black spells. That was a great draw. Riddler into Ephemerate. Nihil Spellbomb, mirror match, okay. Should perhaps crack the bomb now? No. I mean, Achulus would be rough still, but they didn't have it, and seemingly they still don't have it. Maybe they just cast. No, they do cast Achulus. Maybe they cast Harbinger. That would make sense for them to do that. Alright, rebound. Target Rizzler. Duro. Cardo. Not that Harbinger would be too problematic. Fetch an island with Flooded Strand, Hedge Maze to start working on hardcasting Atraxa. Let's get the Hedge Maze then. Seems like I can chill. I have the Sing into Stupor. So now they play an Orchulus, I'm not even afraid. They can start flashing back their lootings. Maybe villain just try to flash back a looting. Grixis seems like a horrible deck. They... Oh, this is full scout. Like, they hit me with an Archon on turn 3. And then that doesn't matter. That didn't matter. Seemingly. And the Riddler just successfully blocks. So the much awaited Hedge Maze. Yes, another Spellbomb. Seems kind of free to deploy. Can get rid of the Rochulus mana and their looting. You bought this. You bought what you needed for that deck in paper, played one locals and sold it. Good choice. Do I want Ketramose? Well, it's on. Seems alright. I own Aspergorios. Your body, you do own it. My dad owns Aspergorios. Incorporated. Bro, it's just gonna keep foot scouting. Yeah, maybe like eventually it's gonna lead them somewhere. This seems like Oichulus. Well, that's pretty good actually. I take that back. Now I'm shitting and pissing my pants. Let's draw a land. So we can summon Atraxa. Because my land is tapped and I kept a Ketramose on top, which is not immediately all that useful, but it does help blocking the manifest. Okay, island is pretty good. I play the Grand Unifier. I hopefully find a Solitude. Oh, no Solitude. Well, with no Solitude, let's think. Take Frog or Riddler. Frog plus Ketramose equals Giga moves. We'll play a fetch of whatever color. I guess Prismatic Ending for free. Yeah, Celestial Purge rather than Ephemerate. Maybe Ephemerate is better. I think Ephemerate seems better, frankly. Do you think Atraxa could unite Poland and Lithuania back IRL? Definitely not. I think that bridge has been burned. Which country were Poland and Lithuania before? They were the union of Poland and Lithuania. But that was many hundreds years ago. Bone Man. Holy shit, they can get my Solitude. Not a very good name for the union. I think it's pretty good. You hate each other? Like you being Poles and Lithuanians? I wouldn't say so. Crazy attack. You just attack with everybody. I would just take so much damage. 5, 8, 9. There's only one Lithuanian MTG player with 100 plus pro points. Yeah. Some countries, I guess, they just don't have the Magic the Gathering technology, while Poland has built the infrastructure over the years. Poland has 2 at 100 plus. That's crazy. Only 2? Okay, we drew the first Solitude there. So if I play Ketramose, who would you think other than these two? Well, I'll think of Maciej Janik. But he probably had like 70 pro points lifetime. If I play Ketramose, I might kind of die. Might be unwise. 10 life points is so many. Kowalski is a given, but Kopech is the other. That's crazy. So I never had 100 pro points myself. I thought it was me. MTG pro points lifetime. Piotr Glogovsky. I guess they just scrapped pro points too early. Where do you find that info? List of professional Magic the Gathering players. This is a list of Magic the Gathering players who have acquired 100 or more pro points. Newly available information, September 2017. I mean, I got Platinum, and I guess that's... Yeah, it seems impossible for me to have 100 pro points, because I just got Platinum, then they scrapped pro points after that. Just kind of afraid I'll die. Ketramose. Draws. I mean, 10 live is so much. It's gonna be okay. Maybe we should keep Faithful Mending as a life gain card then. Discard the Prismatic Ending slightly awkwardly. I mean, I don't have Painless Lands. I could discard a bunch of cards to Frog, and then like my Riddler would be drawing 2 cards. I don't think I want to discard that many. I mean, I'm pretty safe here, aren't I? Even if I reanimate an Archon, I live comfortably. It is game 2, yeah. Okay, Solitude on top. So let's draw the Solitude, then I should be pretty giga safe. This game 2, I believe I won game 1? Or did I not? I did, I just played 3 frogs and villain died. One and fought Scourge for the 4th time, okay. Fly my frog. Where our opponent swarms from, it's from... Well, one of them is an island, but they are from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Nerf the Emperor of Boners. Resolves. Discard Archon of Cruelty. Oh, I'm hacking adapting. They had a Thoughtseize and a Mystical Dispute on the battlefield as a 2/2 creature. Crazy if you think about it. Against that, Dual Commander makes sense to me because it's a 1v1 format, so like you kind of have an opponent and they go beat them. I think the game just breaks down when you have 5 opponents or 3 opponents, and just kind of doesn't make sense because if people group up against a single person, then that person will always lose. I don't think there are many dual commander prelims that make sense for me. 10 p.m. commander trial, 16 player. Well, maybe trial commander. 6 p.m. on Thursday, 9 p.m. on Friday, 6 p.m. on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. on Sunday. I guess those times are not too bad. 1 a.m. Well, no, that's a bit early. On Monday. Midnight on Tuesday. 12 a.m. Commander trial and 3 p.m. Commander trial and a 10 p.m. Commander trial. Wednesday truly is a day of commanders. What commander is cool and strong? Uro. Probably bad because you only get to play blue-green. Aragorn, King of Gondor. Cloud, Midgar, Mercenary, Felia, Azusa. 1-2. Sounds like a good person to net deck. Eldrazi Confluence. Where's the Amulet of Vigor? Horn of Greed. Whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. Sick with Azusa. 55 lands. Holy shit. El Minister. Kefka. Jensen Carthalion. Druid Exile. Sounds made up. Bruce Style. Tifa Lockhart. Really? Tifa? Aggro? I guess. Submitted deck. 1-2. 2 free. Sounds good. 1 free. Tifa seems pretty great. Lumra Bellow the Woods. Dual Commander League 5-0. Tiller Engine. Holy shit, this is Amuletos in Dual Commander. We have the Analyst. Six. Provisioner Isil Explorer. This seems pretty cool. Ooh. Root Path Purifier, so your lands are basics. Primeval Titan. Zuranorb. 10 forest, that's a crazy amount, isn't it? I guess you just need some basics for Sakura Tribe. No. Do you? Lands you control enter untapped. So you have this, you have Spelunking, you have one Amulet, you have Tezzeret to find Amulet. Wait, do you have Amulet? Yes, of course you do. You have Urza Saga, or is it banned? Holy shit, so many shitty lands to find. Hatchery Woodlot, which who even knows what it does. Sacrifice at green. Okay. You can also sideboard your commander in this format. So you can just switch your commander? Your main deck? Or can you just put it into your deck and then submit? Not that many Amuletos for an Amuletos deck. Yeah, why is there no Titania in this deck? Wouldn't Titania be great? Swap with 6 for Grindy Game 2 when your opponent swaps their Aragorn to kurwa jakiegoś ptasiora drzeskajowego. Is it Like, is it supposed to work like that, or is it just a feature of the event being on Magic Online and they don't have the technology to make you unable to swap your commander? It's a feature of the format. I guess that doesn't answer my question. Should I play the frog? I think so. It just blocks. If they play removal, I have force. It existed before MTGO, I see. Maybe just get Hedge Maze. A nie, kurwa, nie mogę Hedge Maze'a with this land. Do I want to get a swamp? Not really. Shadowy Backstreet Island? I can't. Oh, Jesus. Undercity Sewers. Hallowed Fountain? Or Meticulous Archive Swamp? But then I can cast a Mending. I want a third land. There's not a Goryo, so probably not. Well, I guess we drew the Hallowed Fountain. They nerf partner. Once you cast one of your commanders, you lose access to the other for the game. I mean, that makes sense to me, because the partner commander is like a companion rule and it's just really strong, so makes sense for an errata. Put target land card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Is that a commander card? Restore? Never seen it. It is from Commander 2013, just animate dead but a land. Goblin Bombardment. Sure. Well, sure. Maybe I just put Force of Negation in it and then I Prismatic Ending the Ocelot Pride, leaving my opponent with nothing. I could Prismatic Ending the Bombardment. Then they keep Ocelot Pride. Force of Negation would be nice to keep it up for a moon, but yeah, I guess I'll force. Then I have a so-called positive tempo. Could ditch the Atraxa to deal one more, but I don't think there is a rush. Dobra, dajemy Prismatic Ending on Ocelot Pride, fetch and pass. When they play Moon, I will fetch a planes and cast Mending. Guide of Souls, okay. Najani Akadl Parampati. Surveillance it is then. Can fetch the green land still, so I guess Shadowy Backstreet it is. This is nice. This is also nice. Maybe keep up 2 wildlands. Could also like put a Surveillance into play, but I pick Ephemerate, Subtlety, Teferi, Nihil Delta. Doesn't matter what I pick. Shika means deer in Nihongonese. That's crazy. Nihongonese. So the advised cards are not Griselbrand. Teferi seems pretty obviously weak, yes. Free Force of Negation. What do they have? Moon. One Quantum Riddler? No nie, no co ty wymyślisz, Moskato? And Priest of Fell Rites? in favor of 2 Nihil Spellbombs to answer Flage. One Celestial Purge, Pest Control, and Draft of the Skies. I don't know. Teferi makes sense for sure. Priest, sure. Nihil Spellbomb, maybe one. Quantum Riddler stays in. One phone gets cut, but I will keep a pair. Playing a good deck, whoa. Vinky, you can't just come in and claim that Titan is not a good deck. It's kind of rude of you to do so and unwelcome. One Subtlety. Amulet has been belchered. Chat, one bad matchup means that you have a bad matchup that you have to fight through. So just do. Sometimes in Magic the Gathering you have to fight. You have to battle. You have to put up resistance. You can't just let the current take you and wash you down the river. The metagame current, because that's a recipe for ending up astray on an island. Like Robinson Crusoe. This hand will be mulliganed. It's a bit too bad because I can't cast anything. This hand I guess I'll keep, and I put back Faithful Mending, right? I think so. Maybe the second Riddler is worse, but I'm not sure. Like, I kind of don't really want to cast a Mending anyways. Maybe it's better if I draw Solitude because I can pitch it. Ragavan. Here we go. I mean, I think the most reasonable move is to Hallowed Fountain and just Prismatic Ending and then hope to draw a land. Alright, the second Riddler is pretty bad and like pretty unnecessary, so I guess I shouldn't have kept it. The villain does nothing, which is really nice. Neither do I, which is not very nice, but I guess if they ever put 2 creature spells on the stack at the same time, we can really show them. Planes. Seems like Moon. Force of Negation, get your ass back in here. I mean, how big of a deal is Flage? Like, it's probably reasonably big deal, but maybe I can cut Griselbrand. Seems bad to pay life against villain. Only one purge kinda sus. This is a Moscato net decked list. I guess it would be nice to have a second purge against Moon, yes. But I don't have it. Doesn't borrow Stream Flage versus us. Maybe. I mean, also, like, if it escapes, I will Solitude it. Seems simple. Alright, this beats Moon. And doesn't do much else. Hedge Maze. That's a good top deck. Gotta go, chatters. Catch you later. As if my stream is going to be online later. Mr. Chimba has fallen for the oldest trick in the book. Looking good, Mr. Streamer. Thank you, Mr. Duct Tape. I'm sure you look good as well. If they play Bombardment now, I do not counter it. Johnny, I do not counter as well because I can't, mainly. No 3 PM clickbait amulet trial, no. But I will try to play the 10 PM one. Do they fire consistently? Anybody knows? Anybody tried playing them? Let's see. There's 3 people. It's happening in 1 hour 42. Seems like it should fire. Is it like a... Holy shit. Whoa, you win a set? What the fuck? I mean, it's 16 players to fire, so I guess it's not firing with 14. Holy shit, this is like printing money then. In QPs. Be wary that the games are grindy. Well, for sure. For sure. What to do here? The Wrath of the Skies is probably going to be pretty bad. I guess maybe I can just cast it right now. That's not too bad. Revolutionary tactic of just casting Wrath of the Skies X equals 1. Yeah, that's actually pretty good, actually. I should do that. It's really good. Play land Riddler and hope to draw Ephemerate. That sounds like the worst play one could make in the spot, probably. But with a high ceiling. This is nice because Ajani either flips or it doesn't, and it's good for me anyways, kinda. Well, it's not great. But I kill Ajani and draw a card. And I keep up Force of Negation. Hopefully I draw something else that's blue, not just the Riddler. Or maybe I just let Ajani live for a turn. Nah, that's not great. Or maybe they don't flip entirely. Yep. So do I give flying? I don't think I need to. Why would they flip it? It forces me to discard 2 cards. And if they don't have cards, then it's a 1-2. Like, there is a plausible reason to flip it. It's not a great one, so it makes sense that they decided not to, but I think it's not so out of the world of possibilities to not consider. This is an issue. It might be they did not play a moon on the turn that they could have played the moon. I have a plains already. I'll have a big frog. Raph was a nice 1-for-1 there. Well, it also let me attack with my frog and draw a card, so you could say it was a 2-for-1. I'll counter. Seems a bit dangerous to let it live, and maybe I can draw a fetch an island and just kind of function. Function through moon. Or maybe they just don't have moon. Fetch is awesome. Because now I can play fetch, play frog, play Riddler, draw 2, attack, draw 2, discard, draw 2 again. I could also discard frog, play fetch, play Riddler. That way I'm looking deeper for an Atraxa. Maybe that's just wise. But 2 frogs seems hard to beat as well. Swamp alone doesn't do much for me. Swamp just lets me cast Ketramose, Goryo's Vengeance. While Island lets me cast my Quantum Riddlers and Faithful Mendings. Both let me cast. Prismatic Ending on Moon. You don't need to cast more spells with 2 frogs. Yeah, that as well is of course. Very true. Yes, that could have happened. So it's only draw 2. I guess now if I moon it's a bit rough. Is it better to perform the actions post-combat? Not really. Like, the point is that you play the Riddler and you draw 2 cards in combat from the frog trigger. No nie, kurwa, i ten ma teraz ile energii? But then I discard proactively and then it's a bit better against discharge. Oj, no i co, kurwa? I can discard 3 cards, which makes the frog live. Frog dies to flash. They have an energy. I know. I mean, my hand is pretty useless. Just discard a fetch. Like a single fetch and then what? Or both fetches. Well, I need to discard the Vengeance as well. I will not draw 2 with Riddler. If that's what you mean. Because I'll draw in my draw step, right? So, but if I discard 2 cards and I just let the frog die, then I would rather just discard 3 cards. But then I need to top deck for Quantum Riddler. It's also better if they have Moon. That's the follow-up. Galvanic Discharge is Giga OP against Frog. Dealt 3 damage and the Trap and Charm. Okay. I'm fine with that. That's okay. For sure I will top deck a land. And Riddler will take over. Flight would have sucked, but Dobra, Solitude is okay. Mr. Duct Tape, I am not greedy. All I'm asking for is for my opponent not to entomb a Flage right now. Not to do that in their next turn. Derek would Surveil Flash. Is he particularly good at doing that? I always envision Derek as a Sisyphus type character pushing up his boulder through Boros Energy boulder through the modern challenges, and he like barely gets there whenever he wins. Ragaban, no dobra, siedzi. Which is a different player archetype than a lucky person one. Prismatic Ending, sure. Dobra, feczyk. Czarny. Kurwa. Jebane taplandy zasrane, no. Zaśmierdłe. Steal this, Mr. Ragavan. With Force Draw, I will Solitude. WTF? Sniping? How does my opponent know I have a Solitude? Holy shit, I give them life for the Ocelot Pride? That's sad. O, ja pierdolę. No nie. Niedobrze. That's a large amount of cuts. Oj, we need Pest Control, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's good, it's good. I mean, it's not good, but they can't really attack with the Ocelot Prize that well. Hopefully they don't draw a creature spell, but something I can counter with Force. Force N. Why not? Big Al. Flip Ajani counters GG. Well, how do you flip Ajani exactly? It requires a cat to die, which currently doesn't seem like it's gonna be happening. Oh, I mean like they attack, they flip Ajani, they put counters? I think that's fine. I guess I attack with all the monsters. I go to low life total. They can attack with the Ajani. That flips. No, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Red permanent would also be bad. Not if it's non-creature. Then I can force in. Probing Charm. No, no. Let's think. What do we want to pitch? It would seem to me like Frogster, because Faithful Mending can find the Wrath and Frog cannot. Do we agree on that? I think we do. You're throbbing? To chyba męskie tajemnice są na full volume puszczane. Holy shit, attacking with a single Ocelot Pride? That's a 7-head move. But doesn't really change anything. After rigorous evaluation of the mana landscape and the sequencing of prior turns, I have reached the incontrovertible deduction that Mr. Streamer possesses a flash creature. Within this deck, the sole candidate is a Solitude. Hence, through all airtight logic and optimal heuristics, really make a cut? I guess. Wait, isn't that horrible? How many tokens you get? Like a cat, 2 cats, and 2 cats. Well, it's kind of fucked up. Now you get 1 cat warrior and 1 cat token and 1 cat token. Then this kills this and this blocks this. And then I take, well, or even this. Then I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. So I guess I live. Even if, like, if we both draw nothing, I live with what we have. Of course, that's assuming I will not draw Pest Control immediately. No nie dobrałem Pest Control, no. Co tu dużo mówić. Pest Control it is not. Let's think about this. What's the Excel card count? It's 7, so playing a Ketramose is pretty good for making sure I don't die to Surveil Entomb Flash. I get to keep Ocelot Pride, which doesn't seem to matter much. Otherwise, I need to keep Riddler back if they like top deck a Flage, which seems worse. This kills all the tokens. This attacks here, this attacks face, play Ketramose to block. I'm at 9. Flage, shoot face, attack, block, Flage is good. Yes. Nice catch a mana. Oh, Hedge Maze, am I right? Hedge Maze. Alright, that is... well... I guess I still live through Flage. No, yeah. But what do I do? Alright, I guess let's cast Mending. Maybe we will die to Entomb Flage. A nie, bo tego nie mogę kurwa skastować też. Aż sobie myślałem, o, zdobyłem, zabiję Assault Pride, but I can't cast it either. Alright, I guess I'll just die to top deck Flage. Well, Entomb Flage, not top deck Flage. Nice Wrath. Clock. Thank you for your message, Carlo Neb. It is very insightful and useful. Debated by Olsen, classic. Now I cast Ketramose successfully, hopefully. I think Guide of Souls is better. Draw 2 with Ketramose. Yes, I know. We have the Hedge Maze in play, so we can hardcast Atraxa next turn if I top deck a land. I guess I can even use Sink into Stupor as a land, but the idea of spending free life on that has been a little bit not something I wanted to do. Elegant Pallor puts Sacred Foundry into their graveyard. Not entombing a Flage. Is Happy Bara stupid? Well, the Goryo's deck seems solid, but you have to look at your lands, and that makes it better. Prowess matchup seemed a bit tricky, maybe. Because Solitudes don't really match up all that well against Monastery Swiftspear and Cory Steelcutter. And how you played the second best deck, when the best. Next stream, I will play 4 matches of Belcher just for Da Vinci's pleasure and happiness. How many hours until 10 p.m? Well, I don't know. Actually, no, maybe not, but